Alright guys, we're going to do a little review here.
2015 Honda Rancher, full drive foot shift model. Had it now for about 3.5 years or so, maybe a little bit over that. And of course, we're going to introduce you to the new toy, 2018 Polaris Sportsman 850 SP. The Honda Rancher's been a great bike for me. I've done quite a bit to it. I've got a snorkel, I've got radiator kit, light bar, 31-inch Outlaws, aftermarket wheels, no limit wheels. They've been good. Never broke the bead on them, which is good. Of course, it is a Honda, so there's not a whole lot of torque, like there is in that Polaris back there, but still, nonetheless, been a good bike. Got the 2.5-inch stretch on it. All the upgrades, performance pipe. Got the chip in there to help it not run bad with that new pipe. Anthony Carter at CPP built all this for me, the stretch and all. Stainless steel drive shaft. I haven't had any problems out of that. Went ahead and did the rear brake delete as well. Greased all the fittings in the rear end. All of it's greased fully. Take this cap off and we'll pump it full of grease until fully clean grease comes out, and that's kind of how I service it, at least. Hadn't had any problems out of it at all for all the time I've had it. Now, when you do the stretch, you lose the protection for that boot for your U-joint, and I got hung up on a root in a mud hole one time and it ripped that boot off. I had to replace that. I went ahead and just replaced the U-joint before I messed with trying to repack it and do all that stuff to it when the U-joint wasn't too terribly expensive. Plus that happened real recently, and it is 3.5 years old now, so I thought, well, to heck with it. Go ahead and just put a new one on there. The bike, haven't had any problems. Still got the stock front axles that came on the bike. They've held up extremely well. Haven't had any problems with them. Got the bumpers and the racks and the kit painted almost like a two-tone. You can kind of see that. Had them do black and then sprayed red into it, sprinkle it in there almost, and I like it. It turned out it's kind of a one-of-a-kind thing, so I like it. Blacked out the headlights on it because, well, if you own a Honda Rancher, you know that those headlight pods get water in them pretty easily. And I like that light bar. It lights up everything. No problems. I'm sure some people might hate me on the trail, but hey, it is what it is. Hadn't any problems out of it. The light bar, though, this switch sometimes can get a little wet and cause an issue, but really the actual switch itself isn't too terrible. It's this piece right here. It's down there in the muck and the mud and the water hitting it all the time, so it can have some problems. But this bike, get up on here. This bike has 1,816 miles, 322.1 hours. It says that it's got low oil, but it's just leaning back on this hill right here. I already checked that. Hadn't any problems. KFI winch is a really good winch. Comes with a year warranty. It lasted well beyond that. before I sent it back in and had it rebuilt. And actually it was very cheap and cost effective to just send it in and have them rebuild it, and it works great. No issues there, no problems. Pulled out my buddy's high lifter, which is a different animal than that SP, but it pulled it out pretty easily, and it was what we call peanut butter mud. It was pretty stuck, so no complaints there. But I mean, for the most part, it's been a great bike. I just wanted a little bit more power and decided to add this one to the family. Here's a shot from the rear with that independent rear suspension with those arched A-arms coming straight from the factory, which I really like. And those LED rear brake lights are really nice as well. Here's a video over from the side. We got the all-wheel drive system. Some people have a love-hate relationship with it. I don't have very much experience with it. I've always owned Hondas. 300, had two 300s. One of them was my granddad's that passed down to me, and then I moved up to the 420, which I've thoroughly enjoyed. But now I decided it was time to move up a little bit. So if you guys know of any known issues or anything with the SPs, let me know. I know of one that everybody talks about, and that is that piece right there. Supposedly updated for this year to a steel pinion plate, but they say that the stock ones don't do well, and that they should be upgraded right away to the Seco Racing or a different company, maybe pinion plate that's a billet aluminum to keep it from breaking. Power steering unit in this one, no power steering unit in this one, and you can definitely tell the difference. Kind of been missing out, I think, with not having the power steering, and now I'm kind of in love with it. I kind of messed up, I think, so I might not be able to go back to one without it. But one thing about the two, as far as the power steering unit goes, it's just so much easier to turn, even in four-wheel drive. But I will say the Honda gets a leg up as far as in the stock condition. Where the radiator was located, there was a, check that out, there's a stick. Where the radiator was located, you couldn't get down in there if it got water in it. And when you tried to spray it, it had this plastic piece that was like a fan. I guess it funneled the air a certain way, and that was kind of the way they wanted it. But you couldn't really get to the radiator to clean it at all. And I didn't really like that, but I ended up, moving it up anyways out of the mud. And I probably, maybe eventually we'll do that to this one. But this one has a really nice access here. So if you start getting mud in it and it needs to be cleaned out, you can just pop this piece out, and it's very, very simple. Pops right in there like that, pops right out. So if you need to wash that radiator out, it starts overheating or something, you've got great access to it, which I really like. The one thing about Polaris that I do like is the fact that they do think about these things. They've got racks where you can integrate. They have all of their accessories where they just integrate right into the rack. You don't have to try to mess with bolting something down. You can always just get the thing that's made for it, and it fits right in there. It's got a piece here where you can do 5-gallon pails, and you can strap them down, and they sit right in those little ridges. I really like that. Storage here. Storage is real deep on it. I don't think that's going to end up being as water sealed as I would like, but hey, I don't think you can really keep water from getting anything for forever unless you silicone it shut, and then what good does the storage do for you? So I like how this is integrated here. You got lots of storage in this front too, this front area, and you can keep gloves or maybe extra pair of socks if your feet get wet and you start getting cold or something, if it's cooler out. I like how they've mounted all these fuses and things up way high up in the top. And also this box, I mean, it comes out with ease. I mean, you can get right to your battery. You can get to the radiator, backside of the radiator here, the fan, the top end. I really like that because I do a lot of cleaning on my Fuller. I do a lot of, when I get done riding, I clean it up. I try not to let it get terribly bad. This one I don't have shined up. I've cleaned it, you know, sprayed it off real good, but I haven't done a real good cleaning on it not long ago, where I took all the plastics off, took the floorboards off, got the motor looking good again. You can see where I kind of shined up the calipers a little bit. Just try to keep it, I try to keep it as nice as possible. You can kind of see down through here where the motor, a little cleaner than most of them that are this old, you know, they just don't look that way. But you know, these plastics on them over time, they just start fading and looking bad. But this one here, that's another reason why I like this one, because it is the automotive painted plastics, and it's kind of like sucks at the same time. It's really good because it seems like it'd be a little easier to clean with the automotive paint. You know, you can wash it with car soap and all, and it should come pretty clean, as opposed to a plastic where it tends to get that faded look right away. And I think we'll get that also with this black piece here, this piece here. I can see these pieces up here starting to get that faded look. You can already see where some dirt's on here, and it just makes it look like that. But there's plenty of products out there to keep that, to try to keep that shine in it. So, and I'll definitely do that. But I like the top headlight, although once you add accessories on the front, speaker or any kind of accessory, like if I did relocate the radiator, say I had some overheating issues due to the mud getting in the radiator, then I wouldn't really be able to access that light, wouldn't be any good anymore. And also that storage would probably not really be very useful anymore as well. So it's kind of like, it's nice while you have it, but then sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do to make it ride the best you can. As far as the Sportsman goes, we've got 23.2 hours till the first service. Engine is 88 degrees Fahrenheit. It's been turned off now for a little bit. RPMs, miles per hour. You can also do that up here at the top. I like this one better because it's a little bright, a little bit bigger and more in your face. I like to either leave it on the odometer, maybe a trip setting if we're starting out early in the morning and going all day. Other than that, you can also change that display as well. But really nice four-wheelers. Love them. Stay tuned, and we'll get some riding videos up of both of them.